Hello, students. Michael Sanchez. Welcome to the Tuesday night class every 9 o'clock at what? What am I trying to say? Every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock, we're doing these classes for adult beginners and intermediates, trying to help them learn on violin. A lot of the students that are here tonight are a lot of my personal students that I've helped and have been following us on social media. So if you're watching from afar from YouTube and you're kind of interested in potentially improving on the violin, please join us. You can visit my website at violincheck.com. There's a button that says webinar classes. You can learn how to sign up for these classes. All right, so based on the feedback that we got from our Facebook group, I was thinking they might be interested in certain other things, but they actually were really curious about bow pressure. So I want to talk about that today. So it seems like to me that you guys are curious on how do I get a good dynamic level into the strings? How do I get the violin ultimately to sound clean? Is my guess is what you guys are looking to improve on and learn. So yeah, it's a great concept. So and actually it's a really good bring up from last week because we talked everything there was to know about the right side and how to prevent tension in your right arm, in your wrist, in your hand. So really, this is a great next step because basically, once you have all of that flexibility that we're talking about, then we can use the index finger to press into the bow and get a good, solid dynamic level. Also help us to cross strings properly, ultimately just to get a good, solid tone on the violin. Raise your hand if you guys want a solid tone on the violin. You want to improve and have a nice, clean, crisp, beautiful sound. Most of you. Awesome. All right. So if you didn't watch last week's webinar, that's on YouTube. I highly recommend that because that's basically setting ourselves up to be able to get to what we're going to talk about today. Because if you have tension anywhere and you're trying to do these concepts, you're really not going to have a solid tone because you have tension along with it. All right. So assuming that there's no tension, I want to explain the index finger. So basically this finger, what it does is it presses down into the stick and it gives us the certain type of volume level that we're looking for in the violin, okay? What it also does is it guides the bow and tells it what to do, okay? So when I'm trying to pull the bow this direction, I'm using the index finger to do that. I'm using it to pull a little bit, and then when I'm at the tip, I'm using it to push. So I'm using it to pull and to push, okay? So if you guys have never really thought about this concept of using the index, you're using something else to power the bow, which is causing you tension. You can technically power the bow with the arm, with the wrist, the lock, all the things that we were trying to avoid from last class, but that's going to cause bow bounces, it's going to cause bow screeches, it's going to make it hard to cross strings cleanly, you're not going to be able to play fast, you're going to have tension that translates into the other hand, that makes it to where you can't do your vibrato as well. And how many of you guys want to do vibrato well as well? You guys want to have a good vibrato on the violin? How many of you? So all this applies evenly. Vibrato is part of the equation in you guys using the front finger properly, okay? Because if you're just using the front finger properly, then we can stay relaxed with the rest of the hand, and then the vibrato hand is able to do what it needs to do, okay? So this is huge when it comes to that as well. Okay, so we're pushing and we're pulling with the index based on what we're trying to do, what direction we're trying to go. So this way and this way with the index, that's transitioning, okay? That's one side of the equation. The other side is pressure down, okay? How much pressure we're putting in. So if we put a lot of pressure down, that means we want a big solid tone. We want a big forte. We want to play as loud as we can, cleanly. We're playing Fortissimo. We're trying to impress our friends and play as loud as we can. We're trying to play, in the recital. Although, if you guys play in a recital, you guys might be more timid, right? Be more careful. But technically, if you're more of a confident player, you want to get that nice, solid, loud tone. So that's all based on what we're doing here, okay? Pressure down into the stick, okay? Now, if we want to play more piano, play softer, then we don't press down as much. We have more of a lighter pressure down. Okay, so here's me playing Fortissimo with lots of pressure into the stick. So lots of pressure there. Now if I play soft, so it's basically it's on a smaller scale, okay? So my index when I'm playing forte, it's basically doing this. like a conductor. Okay, it's doing this. When I'm playing piano or pianissimo, it's doing this. Raise your hand if that makes sense. Talking about this, talking about what this is doing. You guys understand that? Okay, so when I'm trying to play louder, I'm doing more pressure, bigger scale. Okay, now what we don't want is thank you, most of you guys understand that, good. What we don't want is we don't want there to be a sliding of the finger. We don't want the finger to slide, we want it just to rock. Just like we rock with a vibrato, right? We're rocking with a vibrato, we don't want it to slide. We're trying just to get it to rock, right? Rock in the same position, the same location, right? Same thing with the index. We don't want it to slide. We want it to groove, to move in the same position, to rock, okay? So yeah, if you watch, I encourage you to go on YouTube, watch some of the best violinists in the world, Joshua Bell, Hilary Hahn, Itzhak Perlman, Jaska Heifetz, some of the best violinists. Watch their front finger, what they're doing. They're not still. They're constantly moving this finger when they're playing the violin, because that's their motor. That's the power of the violinist, of the breath of the violinist. Without using this, you're using something else that's not giving you good breath, bad breath. All right, so yeah, hopefully that makes sense. So there's a lot of drills and things I can show you guys to really help with this. Let's actually have you guys pick up your instruments and let's try one drill. All right, so what we're gonna do is we are gonna put our bow on the strings and we're gonna practice bow pressure, okay? So we're gonna, basically what I want you to do is I want you to press down into the stick. Now what I don't want you to do is I do not want the hair to rock. See how the hair is rocking right now, the hair? I don't want the hair to rock. I want just the stick to come down to the hair. The stick to move, not the hair. Go ahead and try that. And I'm using my front finger to really do that. So I'm practicing my pressure down, the downwards concept of the index. Okay? You can do that at different parts of the bow. I call this the index drill. Okay? Now, what I recommend is, because while students are doing this, are using the front finger, a lot of times they're doing it with tension along with. So they're tense and they're pressing. So they're kind of like this, doing all these sort of things. So the way to test that is to do both my rocking bow drill and my index drill simultaneously. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean. So you do this like we just did, like this, but then right afterwards you also do this. You also rock your bow across the strings from the above elbow position on the instrument, see where my elbow is, down to the side. Try not to make a sound. Try to be as quiet as you can while doing this. If you get this, that means that there's tension in your hand. Okay, there's something, and I highly recommend watching last week's webinar if that's the case. Okay, so basically we're doing the index pressure and then followed by the rocking bow drill, and if you can get that to be as quiet as possible, then you're in a good position. This is hardest to do at the tip. So if you could probably do it here and be quiet, but if you could do it here, that really tells you how you're doing with the violin, okay? So I'll do it again. So, okay, I might do this maybe 3 times. 1, 2, 3, rocking bow drill. Quietness. 1, 2, 3, rocking bow drill. All right, so if you're getting more, 1, 2, 3, then you're like everybody else in this class probably. Because everybody struggles with that, and that's very common. It basically just tells you that you have something pressing up against the bow and you're not guiding properly here. So that's one of the best drills I think you guys can probably accomplish on the violin. All right, hope that makes sense. Actually, raise your hands if you found that helpful, if you like that drill. Raise your hands. I want to get a feel for, you know, these drills and if they help you guys out or what. Okay, most of you are saying good. All right, awesome. All right, well, let me call on some of the people that mentioned they were willing to play, and I'm going to basically let them come on and introduce themselves, how long you've been playing for, where you're from, and then I would like to watch you play, and don't be shy, it's all constructive. Whatever you do, I will be positive and give you great tips on how to improve. So basically introduce yourselves and then play something short, and I'll give you some tips on it. So let's go ahead and start with Joanne Frazier. Let me see. I'll go ahead and unmute you, Joanne. How you doing?
Not bad. I'm just waking up and the family's asleep, so I can't play tonight.
Oh, okay. I thought you had your hand raised that you did want to play. I asked everybody. Maybe you didn't unraise it.
I guess I didn't unraise it in time.
Sorry about that.
But that's okay.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
No problem. All right, Eddie. How you doing?
Good. Can you hear me?
Sure can.
I'm here.
Awesome. How you? Yeah, please introduce yourself and let us. Everybody. Technically, most people have already seen you play and have sort of interacted with you. But yeah, if you could introduce yourself and let us know where you're from and how long you've been playing.
Sure. I'm Eddie. I live in Louisville, Kentucky, and I've been playing. It'll be 2 years in June.
Sweet. And we actually did a lesson. We posted it on the Facebook group, and yeah. So maybe a scale or something, anything that you're working on, I'd be willing to watch you and give you some tips.
Okay.
By the way, I love your background.
Thanks.
You show signs of a true enthusiast. Maybe just a scale or anything like that would be fine.
Yeah. Let's see.
You can put your camera down a little bit too. That'd be great.
Down?
Yeah, that's a bit. And I will try to relate a lot of the tips to the concept of this evening, which is the bow pressure. So yeah, let's give you some good tips on that.
All right.
All right. Hey, I would like everybody to raise their hands if you're clapping, because that was awesome. The first student to play. That takes a lot of guts to do that. Let's give him a hand, both on raising hands and I'm sure you can also see the screens, Eddie, of us clapping for you. So thank you very much. Very, very sustained playing, very careful playing, which is great. It's like you have really good technique. Your left hand is set up, like I mentioned in the lessons, really, really good. So yeah, a lot of you guys could take a lot of good tips from Eddie's playing, just how good he's set up with the left hand. Great, yeah, just real sustained playing. I mean, every student can improve on the right hand with the index. And Eddie, I mean, a lot of you guys out there, you know, are not doing some of these drills that are going to really help you, you know, with being able to transition more with the index. So anticipation is huge. So be thinking more about transitioning as you're coming up. So my analogy is a yo-yo. Raise your hands if you guys have ever used a yo-yo. Yo-yo, you know, those crazy things. So you can't just throw a yo-yo down and expect it to come back up. You have to kind of groove it down, and then it comes back. This momentum, this anticipation needs to happen with a yo-yo. Same thing with the violin. So as you're coming up, you have to be thinking more about coming down. Raise your hand if that makes sense. We're anticipating more of the down bow. And you know, everything that has to do with that is right here. So technically when you're doing a yo-yo, a lot of it's in the finger, right? Same thing with the violin, it's all right here. So yeah, Eddie, I'll have you maybe just do a couple more notes and try to see if you can move more of the index and do more anticipation, like kind of get it to where it's helping to change directions, this kind of circular effect. So by the time you reach about right here, before you get to here, think more about coming back the other direction. See if you can do that. Gotta find them now. So many people here.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm having to find you because yeah, I was on my screen and now there's so many people here, which is great. Thank you everybody for being here. Pin post. Here we go. Go ahead, Eddie. Good job. No, really, really good. That was better. So you were using the index more that time. Could you kind of feel how that helped a little bit with changing directions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Yeah, so really it's just a matter of limiting tension, not having that tension, but then using the index to help circularize, is that a word? Circular the bow. And that's what the key is to getting really clean crossovers, getting a clean sound, ultimately doing spiccato, keeping things relaxed for vibrato, all those things. So thank you for playing, Eddie.
Sure.
Appreciate it. That took a lot to be the first one. All right,
Thanks.
so I have a couple other people that are on my list. Let me go ahead and just make sure all you guys are on board. Let me unraise everybody's hand a second. If you guys can do that too, if I miss anybody, see Stephanie. I'm unraising everybody's hand. All right, raise your hand if you would like to play, if you have interest in me giving you some further tips. All right, let me write these down now since we're kind of fresh again here. So Sue, Karen, Amanda, Amanda, and Mitch. That's what I got. Okay. All right, well, let's start with Sue. Sue, how you doing?
Is that me? Sue Hollister?
Sue Hollister, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing fine, thank you.
Great. Welcome to the class.
Thank you. It's very fun to be with everybody, all these other adult learners.
Yes.
And I
I'm passionate
appreciate
about
you,
learning.
Michael. These are great. I'm sorry I have to leave at 8:30 today.
Oh, that's fine. We have 5 minutes technically. Do you want to just play something for
I'd love
me?
to. I'd like to play a scale too, I think.
Great. And how long have you been playing and where are you from?
Oh, I live in Homer Glen, Illinois. And I've only been playing for about, it'll be 3 years in October.
Excellent.
Yes.
Great. So obviously looking to improve, and are you doing like third position yet, or kind of just more
I
first?
have started third position. I'd love to learn more about vibrato.
Okay.
So I joined an orchestra that has really welcomed me as a beginner. And there's a few other people who are also beginners. And the whole orchestra has really been very encouraging. Most of them are retired people, but that has been really helpful to be part of a community. So this kind of a community is really, really helpful, I think.
Absolutely. Appreciate you being on board with us here. So you only have a few minutes, so if you want to play something real quick, and I'll give you some
All right. Can you see me okay? It looks kind of dark, but.
a little dark, but I can see.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's raise our hands in support and clap if you'd like. The ones that have your screens available to be seen. There you go. You have 20 out of 36 people clapping for you. I'm sure everybody else clapping. Very cool.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, I'll give you some tips, Sue. So yeah, very good playing, very sustained playing. Both of you and Eddie, just real nice playing. Good technical bass. Your left hands are really good. So not much going on there to be said. Yeah, as far as the right hand goes, a couple of tips I'll give you. Noticing this a little bit of bow speed change as you're changing directions a little bit. So what we're playing, we kind of want the bow to be going the same speed if possible. So some of that might be something that you're doing in the hand to kind of change, thinking about the change in direction. So try if you can to kind of keep that bow speed the same going back and forth.
Okay.
Pretty common. And a lot of times that speed change happens a lot of times with the thumb, kind of putting a little bit of pressure up against the bow and kind of being that extra umph to change directions. So I would try to curve that thumb a little bit more. And yeah, try to have that same concept I was talking about, that yo-yo concept of transitioning more index finger.
Okay, very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, the drills I think would be really helpful for you and a lot of the other students as well here.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for being on. Hope to see you next week.
I'll be here.
Sweet.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? We have a list here. Let me pull that up. Let's see. Karen. Karen, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing good. How long have you been playing and where are you from?
I'm from a suburb of Waco, Texas, and I've been playing just a little over a year.
Okay. Sounds great. So what have you been working on in your studies?
Well, we do several things, but one of the ones that I play is Bonaparte's Retreat.
Okay. So kind of more, you were into more of the fiddle stuff or both?
That's correct. Yes.
Fiddle stuff. Okay, great. Sounds good. Yeah. And you're willing to play something and get some tips?
I'll give it a try.
All right. I like the attitude. I'm trying to find your screen here so I can put you on in your video. Let's see if I can see you. You're on video right now, right? There you are.
Yes.
I see you.
I'm not sure if how much you can see.
I can see. I like the violin. That's a nice violin.
Thank you.
Hey, all right. All right, let's give her a hand or raise hands and clap on video, all that good stuff. Good job, Karen. Thank you very much. Hey, fiddle player from Texas. That's cool. I gotta say that's, because if you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band, right?
Right.
That's what they say. Good job. Very nice. So yeah, a couple tips for you. I would just highly recommend, using a little bit more bow. Definitely good intonation. I really thought that your intonation was really good. So if you can do that, let me put my screen. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so yeah, anytime we're playing, it's obviously too, Karen, you're maybe nervous, and everybody else that would play would be nervous. But yeah, what I recommend to students is using as much bow as possible. So. So as much arm extension as you can, wrist bend coming back, and yeah, just having as loose as you can with the hand, the wrist, and then yeah, like we talked about today, using the index finger. So so yeah, that would be my biggest tip, is just more bow. So yeah, any questions about that, Karen?
No, I would probably be using a little bit more bow, but I'm actually sitting down. I generally play standing up.
There you go. Yep. So normally you would. And I wasn't able really to see like your bow hand as much because you were kind of up close. So maybe next time you'll have ability for me to see kind of the overall of your bow hand and stuff.
Okay.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on. If you have any questions, just feel free to ping me on Facebook, and love to help. First time I've seen you.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks for coming on. You're welcome. All right. Let's see who else. Amanda. How you doing, Amanda?
Hello.
It's getting harder to manage because all the people. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good, good. So
Sorry, should I just start?
how long you been playing and where are you from?
Oh, I move a lot, but right now I'm in Hawaii. So, and I've been playing for 4 years.
Lucky you. A Hawaiian violinist. That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah,
The weather is probably amazing there, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, it's nice.
Not cold and 30 degrees.
No, but I kind of miss my home in Minnesota, so it's a little
Oh,
too
really?
hot for me.
Okay. Interesting. Sorry, maybe you already said this, but how long have you been there in Hawaii?
A few months now. I just moved here a little bit ago.
Okay. Cool. So how long, or what kind of pieces are you working on?
Right now I'm working on Crystallize, but I'm not very good at it yet, so I'm not gonna be playing that.
Lindsay Sterling. All right. Cool. Are you also implementing some good stuff with scales and all that good stuff, or just?
Yeah, I've been trying to work on fourth finger playing.
Okay. Well, would you be willing to maybe play a scale for me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
Don't say anything. No. Sorry, my sister's in the room.
You got company. All right. Try, if you don't mind, loosen your bow a little bit. It's pretty tight. Your bow's pretty tight.
Okay.
Yeah, so you want it to, everybody that's watching right now, you want it to where when you're playing, you want to barely not be touching the stick. I just could tell that was pretty tight. That kind of makes the bow bounce a little bit more than it should. That's better. All right,
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay.
Nice. Good job. I like that scale arrangement. Very cool. Yeah, so really good setup. Good left hand flex or right hand flexibility actually. You're actually using the index quite well. So a lot of things I've talked about with bow pressure, I think you're actually able to do quite easily. What I would give you tips on more is the left hand. Noticing that you're lifting your fingers up a lot to find notes, so that implies that there's some overpressure into the fingerboard. So if
Okay.
you're seeing a fourth finger come down and any other fingers are popping up, if you guys actually that are watching, if you guys can grab your instruments and just try this, try putting a fourth finger down and see kind of what naturally you want to do. If you want to lift your fingers up, do that fourth finger like this, then there's overpressure going down into the fingerboard. Okay, so what we want is we want the four to just be lightly pressed, and then these fingers are nicely relaxed. Because a lot of times what happens is you come back to one of those fingers. You put a four down, and then all of a sudden you come back to a one, and you're there. Or you come back to a three, and you're there. So if you're lifting your fingers up, you're making it harder on yourself to be efficient and to get back to home base. It's going to hurt your ability to play fast, to play in tune, to be able to catch up with your rhythms. So yeah, try your best to do that. That would be the only thing I would say, Amanda. Everything else looks really nice. I would say maybe use a little bit more bow.
Yeah.
But a lot of that's just people are nervous, right? Come on and play for 40 people, without notice. So, but good job. Yeah, I would just work on the fingers. One one scale that you guys can work on that really helps to practice keeping fingers down is doing thirds. So basically thirds are where you skip 2 notes and then you come back 1 and then you skip 2 notes, come back. So it's basically open, second finger, 1, 3, 2. Now don't do open, do 4, then 3. Now 1, open, 2, going up 2, back 1, go up 2, back 1, 2, up 2 to 4, like that. So it's basically I want you guys to do as you're working on that is try to keep your fingers close. Don't lift your fingers up. I even have it with students. I actually put like a book here or some sort of object to force them to keep their fingers down while doing that. So that would be a really good drill for you guys to work on this week if you're feeling like you're lifting fingers up. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming on. That was really good. Very good. Very good ability at your experience level. Very nice.
Thank you.
You keep up the good work. And I'm very jealous that you're in Hawaii. So enjoy the time.
I'll certainly try.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, we have one more, I think, student that wanted to come on. Mitch. Have Mitch come on. Mitch is a good player. Plays very well. All right, let's see. How you doing, Mitch?
Now, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
Whoops. All right, tell us how long you've been playing and where you're from.
I've been playing for about 13 years, but I've never had a lesson, so I just kind of figured it out myself. But I just, in school, every good boy does fine. I could figure out the music, and then I learned how to read it and make it go to the violin, and I just play a lot. And I live out in Catawissa, Missouri.
Nice. Never heard of it.
You froze up. There you go.
Yeah, I think your connection's showing a little,
Pardon me?
low. I don't know if you'll be able to. It seems fine.
Yeah.
Are you gonna play for us something?
Yeah, I guess Amazing Grace, that's the song,
Sure.
Is it jamming up on again?
I'm hoping for an amazing
Hang
connection.
on, let's see.
Yeah, it's showing like yellow now. Give it a shot. See what happens. Go ahead. Yeah, froze.
Hello?
Yeah, we'll have to do it another time, Mitch. I think it's just sort of not working too well. So if you can, if you want to post a video on the Facebook group, most people have seen you play, but I think just doing it on here is not going to work. It's just a little slow.
Okay.
Sorry.
Is it better now or?
Yeah, it's a little better now. You want to try it?
Okay.
Awesome. I'm glad it came through nice. Raise your hands with appreciation and clap on video if you'd like. For Mitch, great job. Excellent flexibility. Very good bow speed and control. Definitely tell you've been playing a while. Yeah, you want me to give you a few tips, Mitch?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Biggest things I would one second. I would say is your bow tilting. You're tilting the bow a little bit. play. That might be more comfortable to kind of get a clean sound. I don't think you need it because you have really good bow control and good index usage. But yeah, try to get that bow less tilted. That's going to be a better habit when you're playing. And then, yeah, really a lot of good things with your technique. I would say a big thing for you, Mitch, would be rhythm, working on your rhythm. So as you're working on this piece, kind of getting a sense of where the beat is and where you're kind of going to the next measure. So for Amazing Grace, so right here is the next measure. So I mean, I liked all the ornamentation stuff you were adding. You just want to make sure that you do that in meter. That would be my suggestion.
Okay. All right.
Do you want to try it again real quick and see if you can do that? I mean, I would tap your foot. I bob the instrument, you know, that helps me with rhythm. But yeah, any of those two things. But I can always, yeah, I can tell you sort of if you're doing it on the proper meter or not.
Okay.
You want to try it again?
All right.
Go ahead. Beautiful tone. Good job. Very nice.
That,
That was
is that
inspiring.
better?
I'm sure that was inspiring to many people. Thank you.
Is that better? My speed? Was my speed a little better?
It was better. It wasn't exact. You were rushing into the next meter a little bit quick in two spots. It's being somewhat picky. I mean, it sounded great. Most people may not even notice, but it's
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a meter thing, you know. So like for example, if you were to play an orchestra or a symphony or in a quartet and you were playing that, you would be ahead of the group or behind the group. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I don't play with nobody, so it's
yeah, you don't play with anybody. It
yeah.
doesn't really matter too much. I mean, really, because you have everything else is so solid with your playing. You've done such a great job with self-teaching. That would be kind of the thing I would focus on a little bit for a while, just kind of really mastering a little bit more with rhythm. It's not just playing with others, but also it does add more musicality to kind of nail those changes more. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right.
It would just add that much more because your playing is great. It's already good.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So if you want to do a lesson with me sometime or whatever, I'd be willing to help you more with the rhythm stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, try that out.
For sure. Good job. It sounded great.
Thank you.
Let's see. Cool. Raise your hand if you guys like the student playing and me giving tips, feedback. Raise your hand if you like that format. It's a little bit different. Kind of trying to feel out the, feel out the audience, what you guys like, what you don't like. It was kind of nice to post on social media to get a feel for the topic. So that was good. Okay, most of you guys seem to like the concept there. All right, let me just take some questions, like just questions from the audience. So let me do that for the last little bit here. So let's unraise all the hands. So I know that you have a question. And then we'll start with that, with some questions from the audience. All right, raise your hand if you have a question. Preferably about the concept of the bow pressure, but doesn't have to be. Okay. Carol, how you doing? Whoops, I did something I should have done there. Change, where you love technology and sometimes you don't so much, right? Okay, I think I kicked Carol out. All right, Carol. Hopefully you'll be back. All right, any other questions? Made a mistake there. Lucien, how you doing? How can I help you? Are you there? Lucen?
Hi.
How you doing?
Oh, can you hear me?
I can.
All right. Okay. Regarding the Pinkie,
Uh-huh.
I was wondering about the whole bow hold, since I see a few people that do not have the middle finger parallel to their thumb. I was wondering if they do this, or what kind of disadvantages this can cause with the whole bow pressure thing.
Are you trying to show me on video? You're not on video at the moment?
I don't have my camera with me.
Oh, that's okay. You're just wondering about like the bow hold, how that affects bow pressure, and you want me to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, primarily with the middle finger being parallel to the thumb, the importance of that.
Okay, sure. I can discuss that. So yeah, I mean, as far as the bow hold goes, you know, I tried to explain this in the last webinar, but really a lot of it is application more than exact finger placement. What I mean by that is you can grab the bow, you know, you can have your fingers here, you can have it here. Technically, it's best to have it here. We want to try to do that. But some of you guys sort of get a little bit too hung up on exact placement. You know, if the index is here, or if it's here, or, you know, if the thumb is, you know, here or here or there, you know, like you're a little bit too much about that more than just application. What I mean by application is that the concept is we don't want to be pressing up against this bow. So, you know, you can have the perfect bow hold, but you're pressing and grabbing too hard, or you're pushing with the thumb too much. There's a lot of things you can do improperly that have nothing to do with exact finger placement. So, you know, to answer your question, Lucen, I think try to just think more about the exact most relaxed position of your hand, which for me is this right here. If you guys actually want to do this with me a second, take your hand and just let it rest in front of you like this, as loose as possible, and then put the bow into the hand and don't change much of anything. See that? Okay, so the thumb is curved, relaxed here. So don't think so much about, you know, parallel or exact spots. Just have it be relaxed as possible, because that's what we want. We want the bow to be able to breathe. Does that make sense, Lucen? Hope that helps. So once we're in that position, then we can use that index finger to guide the bow the way we need to. Good question. All right, Carol's back. All right, Carol. Let me unmute you. Go ahead. Carol, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Good to see you again tonight.
Good to see you. So you have a question?
Yes, my question is, and I don't know if this is related to bow pressure or not, but no one has ever explained to me or showed me how to do staccato with a violin. And it seems like when people do, when I watch them do it, it's not the same as a staccato on when I play piano.
Sure. No, it's quite a bit different. Yes, I do play piano as well, so I can totally understand that question. Okay, yeah, so I can definitely talk about that with you. So, so yeah, basically with staccato, it's all about moving the bow a little bit quicker than you normally would for a normal quarter note, and then stopping the note for half of the time. It's basically the same thing as doing an eighth note with an eighth rest. So there has to be some breathing there with a staccato. Half the time you're playing the note, half the time you're resting. And to do that, you have to pull the bow a little bit faster and then stop the bow at a halt. So like this. So those would be staccato notes.
Okay.
Like that.
So like on the first piece in Suzuki Violin book 4, there's a long passage where there's a lot of staccatos, and I think they're 16th notes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still the same concept.
In that sort of scenario, it actually would be different than staccato. It would be spiccato with a P, because anytime that you want to play staccato fast, it gets to a certain point where you have to do it off the string for it to be cleanly. So, you know, if it's eighth notes or quarter notes, you can do what I just talked about. But if it's faster, then your bow actually has to release from the stick to get that cleanliness, that shortness that we're talking about. Otherwise, you can't do that. So it's off the string. So those would be spiccato, but it's not written in music that you do either spiccato or staccato. It's based on the speed of the note.
Oh. So it has to bounce on the string?
Yeah, so like, okay, if I'm doing staccato, this is me doing staccato on the string based on the speed. Now if I start getting faster, right about there is where I have to kind of get off the string. Like that.
Okay.
That
And that
make
would be
sense?
spiccato then.
I'm sorry?
And that would be called spiccato then.
Spiccato with a P.
Okay.
As in pony. You gotta get on the pony and, you know, the pony's going a little faster. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I mean, like if you do a scale, if you work on scales with spiccato, it looks something like this.
Okay.
Hope that answers your question.
Not sure I can do it, but it answers the question.
That's a little bit more advanced. You know, like vibrato normally comes to a student about 2 or 3 years experience, then 2 to 3 or 4, they start doing spiccato, and that can be a struggle. That's kind of one of those other things that takes a while. Once you get to that point, it just takes a while to get, because it's all related to tension and having really good control.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. All right, any other questions? Please raise your hand if you have a question. About 5 minutes left here.
Hello.
Yes. Hello, Lucy. Can I help you?
I wanted to clear up something with the answer you gave me. But did you mean that?
Is that you playing?
I can't hear you now.
Muted yourself, Mike.
Can you hear me now?
All right. Yeah, I can hear you now. So I will not be limited if I do not have my thumb parallel to my middle finger.
No, no, I wouldn't. I mean, my thumb is not parallel at all to my middle finger in my bow hold. I mean, mine is quite a bit different. My thumb is more perpendicular. My middle finger is more on a slant, on a 45-degree slant.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, that's comforting.
Yeah, if you were trying to do, you're trying to do this. Yeah, that's not a good bow hold at all.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I also did have a different question, but I worded that quite poorly. It was regarding how you place your violin as a whole, because I see all type of different, like when I watch Joshua Bell, he has it really tilted and he twists his neck a bit, while some other people are face straight forward and the violin is flat.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, you want it, the way that I teach it is you want to square your shoulders to the music stand. That's number one. And then you want to point the scroll at the left side of the music stand. A lot of you guys have your violins way off the left field, and that makes it hard to get to the tip. Your arm is too extended. So we want it more here, not like this where we're kind of shooting a gun. We don't want that. We want the shoulder square and the violin pointing at the left side of the stand. And as far as the tilt, I don't recommend a tilt like this. I don't recommend it flat. It's somewhere right in here. And the goal is you want to be able to hold it with no hands. And then you want the violin level at all times so that you're not at disadvantage with gravity with the bow. So you want the violin to be level. So this is a good violin hold right here. So not here, 45, shoulder square. Yep. Does that help?
That helps, but say if you do not have a shoulder rest, you need to pull it a bit up or sponge. Like if you do not have a sponge.
You guys will see me not use a shoulder rest at times. That's sort of a bad habit of mine. I mean, there are some teachers out there that actually will not take on students if they use a shoulder rest, believe it or not. I know that's crazy. So it is kind of a thing in the teaching world, whether you use one or not. Most teachers will recommend a shoulder rest, and I recommend a shoulder rest because it helps to hold the instrument more, because so many students rely on the left hand to hold the instrument. And that's a bad habit, because that's going to hurt us when we start to shift and when we want to have flexibility with vibrato. So definitely use a shoulder rest, but the goal, the ultimate concept isn't just that you're using a shoulder rest, but that you have support with your chin and shoulder to where, you should not be able to take this violin away easily. You should have it secure right here. So a good test when you're playing, have a friend, have your spouse randomly grab the violin from you. So like as you're playing, if they can easily grab it from your chin and shoulder, that means that you're not holding it properly. So that's everything to do with the pressure here, which helps with the shoulder rest.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. All right, well, we are out of time, but I hope that you guys enjoyed the class. And we're doing these every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock for the adults. I also have other classes that I'm doing at 6 o'clock for kids, 7 o'clock for the fiddlers, 8 o'clock for the advanced players, 9 with you guys, and then 10 o'clock, which I'm going to be a little late for here, with parents that are looking to help their children improve on the violin. So hope to have you guys come next week. I'll post this on the Adult Violin Learning page. The Shack community page. Let me post the link to the Facebook group that we've been interacting with. I'm on the group a lot. Been giving a lot of tips and encouragement. So I encourage you guys to join the group and participate. A lot of people here that are raise your hand if you guys are on the group, part of the Facebook group. A lot of fun, isn't it? A lot of relationships being built, and a lot of community, which is a huge part, I think, of learning the violin and improving. So I encourage you guys to join that group page, and I will post the recording of this class weekly on there as well as on YouTube. So check that out. I also have a code to give you guys for being here. Congratulations on coming to the class. You get 100 entries for the contest. So I'm going to give you guys that for my violin bow contest. So you guys can access that at violinshack.com/contest. I'm doing a giveaway on the 19th, so it's a little bit more than a week away. I'm giving away a bow. So a lot of you guys have been attending classes and doing all that fun stuff. All right, let me see, the code here is, which one is it? Okay, the code is, okay, so this is going to be the code if you're watching the recording, not for the people here live. It's going to be parents, like I have parents, P-A-R-E-N-T-S, parents, and then Stirk is S-T-E-R-K. S as in Sam, T as in Tom, E as in egg, R as in rainbow, and K as in kite. So parent Stirk is the code. If you put that into my contest, you'll get 25 entries. And then the people that are here right now, here is 5 numbers in front of that. That will give you the 100 entries. All right, let me post that. Guys, yeah, no space, all caps. No space, all caps. All right, so that's for all you guys here right now. Do not say that out loud, please. That is the code for the 100 entries. All right, put that into the contest. Here's the link for that. Contest is cool. And yeah, I encourage you guys that are interested in learning more about the violin. I have actually, I've been really building the website and sort of changing things quite a bit. I have violins and bows on there now that I'm offering to students. So if you want to check that out, check out some of my new instruments, my bows instruments. Also, if you contact me, I have classes going on throughout the week for helping students during the day and the afternoons. What I can do is, what I'm willing to do actually is get you guys into like a free class that I'm doing throughout the week in the morning and the afternoons. So you can kind of check it out, see if you like it. So I'm basically just teaching students different types of concepts, like going through Irish music, going through improvisation, how to join a church ministry group, all these different things that people are interested in, and there's only like 1 or 2 people per class. So basically, if you email me through the website, I will tell you more about each class and get you into one for free, and so you can kind of check it out. But yeah, just visit the site and contact me for that. And ultimately, I hope you guys come to these classes weekly. This is a lot of fun. I enjoy teaching you guys. Raise your hand if you enjoyed the class. All right. So you can plan on these every week on Tuesday nights at 9. And hopefully we'll see you guys next week. Just send me a message on the website if you guys have any questions. Love to hear from you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for playing. Thanks for having the guts to play. I know that's not easy. Maybe next time, prepare a piece for next time, you know, and you guys can maybe come on and play next time once you feel more like you're prepared. So I'll ask people each time if you guys seem to like that regarding the playing. So, all right, see you guys. Bye.
Bye.